What's up guys, Martart here, and today I'm going to be giving you an in-depth guide to the Insect Glaive. The Insect Glaive was first introduced in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate in 4, and that's where I picked it up from. I've been using it ever since. I really like it because it's very mobile, as well as hitting high damage numbers, as well as quick attacks. So I'm going to be going over everything from the extracts to the combos you should be using to how to stay in the air, upgrade paths, Kinsects, how to nurture your Kinsect, pretty much everything. So right now I am using the Steel Blade 3. It introduces the blue sharpness for this weapon, and it has a blast element. Now it's not awoken, so I had to use an awakening charm, and it only brought it up to 70, so it's not that high of blast, but we're going to talk about statuses a little bit later. So first, I'm going to get on to the main thing, the combos. So you don't have much or many combos to do once you just pick up the weapon. You need to get the extracts to be effective with it. So really, you're limited to your slow Y combo, and then you can throw in some B attacks. Now these damage numbers will be fairly high, but the attacks are also fairly slow, and they commit you to it. You still do have the pole vaulting, but it's not that good, and you can miss it a lot easier. Also, if you pole vault and do your aerial mounting attack, it only does one hit, and I'll get on that more. So first things first, we need to get some extracts. So there's three type of extracts. There's red, orange, and white. And then there's also a fourth one, which is green, but that just gives you health. That doesn't give you a buff. So red usually comes from the monster's head or where they attack from. It gives you an attack boost and completely changes your moveset. You should never be attacking without red. Red is pretty much needed for everything. So to send your Kinsect out, you hold your left bumper and then you press B on Xbox, or Y on Xbox, and B brings it back. It'll send out your Kinsect. He'll grab the extract and bring it back. Next is white. Now white is basically just an all-around boost. It helps whatever boost you already have. It also increases the jump height, so you can go a lot higher. Last is orange. This one right here. This is your defense buff. If we look at my defense, it's 153, and when it runs out, it'll probably go down. Same with attack. Attack's 487. With the buffs, it's increased. So now we have a new X combo chain. It's a lot faster, and you can do a lot more from it. So your main combo with all three, or red buff, is going to be Y, 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 and then follow it up with a B, and then you can go straight back into your Y combo to continue it. So you'll hit quite a few hits in, and then these final hits are going to do a lot. To continue, just press Y, and it's an infinite combo. It does not use stamina. So that's going to be your main combo on the ground. Now I'm going to get into Kinsect marking. So if you aim with the left bumper, you can, or trigger, you get this little reticle, and you can aim it around, and then if you press the right trigger, you can shoot. What this does is it marks the target, and your Kinsect will attack whatever you marked, and will just fly around those bugs. Now you can see those bugs spawn there. That's the effect that I have on my Insect Glaive. So if I go to equipment info, you should see that somewhere around here. I guess it's actually on the Kinsect itself. You can see dust effect says heal, which means if I hit this, I heal. So you can also get blast, poison, or paralysis. Those are the different bug upgrade types. So when you mark Once your bug hits it, it puts the little smoke wherever it hits, and then anything that touches it with an attack will be healed. So your teammates can hit this and get healed. So that's how you mark with the Insect Glaive. Now, I don't use marking that much just because in this game you can aim up with your Kinsect now compared to the 3DS version where it was incredibly hard to do that. So marking is not that big a deal, but getting that boost, that health boost, is actually really beneficial. The only problem with it is it stays where it is and it doesn't attach to the monster. So if the monster was to move, the healing effect would still be there, which you're still able to hit it and heal off of it, but it's not on the monster, so you're not going to be dealing damage while healing. Alright, so now let's get into aerials. So I'm going to grab all 3 buffs quick. Also, one thing to mention, when you get all 3 buffs, or when you have 1 buff and then you get another buff, it refreshes the first buff. Same with if you have 2 and you get a 3rd one, it'll refresh them all. So now I have triple buff. I'm going to pole vault. If you press X, you do your mounting attack. Now it's really good with red buff. It hits quite a few times, and it counts as mounting damage as well as regular damage. But that's not what you're going to be using mainly for your aerial attacks. So when you get in the air, you have basically 3 things you can do. The first thing I just showed you, the X attack. The next thing is an evade. Just input a direction and press A, and you should do that little burst. You're going to be using this a lot. The next thing you have is B. Now B does a little attack and also gives you a boost. If you hit this attack, it puts you back in the air, and you can go up again. And you can basically infinitely combo this as long as you have stamina and can hit the monster. And it takes a little bit of practice to get, but when you have it, it's really satisfying to do, and you barely get hit by the monster unless it roars or does a ramming attack. So it will stop the infinite combo when you run out of stamina, so be wary of that. Now, what you're going to want to do to keep this combo going is instead of just pressing B to hit it, and then B to hit it again, which might seem like the easiest thing to do, but your positioning is going to be way off. So press A and then B, and then when you jump up, press A in the opposite direction and B. That way you can recenter yourself, and you can actually get some nice hits off of this. This is also really beneficial if the monster is far away after it like runs away after you hit it, because you get 2 boosts, so you can get a lot of distance. The only problem with this system right now is the camera lock is really weird, and you're oftentimes not going to see where the monster is just because it's hard to move your camera around and try to hit this at the same time. But that's your aerial combo, and you're going to want to be using that a lot. Now that won't get you any mounting damage, so if you're trying to mount, use your X combo. So after you vault, just press X, and you'll do that, and then you can get a mount off of that. So right now I have Blast Element on this, so you might see those little like fire buffs, and elements, or more specifically status effects, are really strong on the Insect Glaive, because you could be hitting a lot of hits in fast, as you see that. So it's not as fast as Dual Blades, but Dual Blades has almost half the attack power. You can see most of their hits are 6, 7, and 8s. But with Insect Glaive, here's the Bone Tree Glaive. This only has green, but it's a little bit stronger. It also has paralysis. So you might see the electric. I really like paralysis on Insect Glaives. I think that's my favorite element on Insect Glaives. Poison is also really good because it can limit the moveset of the monster you're fighting. But you can get some really nice paralysis hits off. with Insect Glaive, as long as you have all your buffs. Make sure you always have them, and then you're going to be hitting it a lot. That backflip is one thing I do want to show you. So after you do your YYY, you should do this spinning thing. If you hold back and press X, you can do a backflip. Or it's back in B. Now this is really good for repositioning yourself because it locks you into this moveset and that moves you forward, but you can hit and then you can go straight into the moveset again. And you can basically just chain your entire hits from that. Now the one problem with Insect Glaive is you're going to be attacking so much that you're going to always be sharpening. So a good skill to have is speed sharpening. Some other really good skills are going to be airborne, which will increase the attack of all of your aerial hits, as well as I don't have it on right now, but it's mounting master, and it helps you get mounts easier, as well as constitution. Now the higher level constitution is going to be really beneficial because it decreases your stamina usage, meaning you can chain the aerial attacks way easier and for a lot longer time. So that's pretty much it in terms of actual combat. I'm gonna run to the upgrade area and I'm gonna show you how to manage your Kinsect. So one thing you'll notice really early on is that your Kinsect is extremely slow, and it's going to be fairly hard to get the extracts from the specific parts. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get the Kinsect upgraded for speed. So I'm going to go ahead to the upgrade shop real quick and show you how to do that. Also, one thing I have not mentioned yet. There's two forms of Kinsects. There's Blunt and there's Seaver. The Seaver does cutting damage, the Blunt does KO damage. I would personally recommend the Blunt over the Seaver because you're going to want to be... Your Kinsect's going to be more useful dealing KO damage because you're going to be going for the head for that red buff because you always need red buff for your attacks.
Okay, partner,
and if it does KO damage, you're going to be dealing KO damage all the time because you're going to be going for that red buff. You're not going to be dealing Seaver damage that much because you're not really going to be going for the tail. The tails usually give you green, wings usually give you white, same with feet, and then any attack gives you red, and then usually like mid-body or protective parts give you orange. So, upgrade equipment. So I really recommend you start with the bone tree. See, I've made it here, and you get paralysis right off the bat, and it gives you blunt boost for your Kinsect bonus, which increases the blunt damage. It's going to start out as the bone rod one. Now if you want to go the ore tree, it gives you the Seaver boost. It's going to do less damage, but it's going to get you blue sharpness quicker. And it starts off with blast. Now you might want to make a sleep glaive because sleep is really beneficial. So that's going to be from the ore tree as well, and I just follow paralysis on the bone tree. You can also get poison from the ore tree as well, which is really nice. So that's basically for the Glaive upgrades. I'm going to head into the Kinsect upgrade. It has its own spot called Manage Kinsects. You can purchase a Kinsect, which you can only purchase the first two for me right now, or you can Nurture, which is basically your upgrade. So these are the two I have right now. This is the blunt type, and this is the cutting type. Now, I have the cutting type equipped right now, just because I like the look of it better. If I'm using the cutting glaive, I'd better use this one because I get the boost on Seaver damage. But the blunt type is just as good. Eventually they all look really nice. There's some nice looking bugs. So they might look like a generic beetle at first, but eventually you get some really cool and bizarre looking beetles. And this is the one I'm currently working towards getting right now. So you can see several pieces of information when you try to upgrade your bug. You see the attack type, which is either blunt or Seaver. You see dust effect, which is the thing I showed you with marking. So I have heal, so anytime I attack it, it'll get heal. Again, you can have any element, paralysis, blast, any of that. You can also equip an element, which will be like dragon, ice, water, fire, thunder. And then you have your stats. So I would highly suggest you go full speed at the beginning and then work towards whatever you want. If it's a cutting type, then I would go towards your ability. So for here, it's healing. If it's blunt, then I would go towards power. If it's Seaver, I would go towards your ability. So here I have a 10 speed, a 4 power, and a 3 heal. And then I'm trying to get it to the 7 heal because I don't really need the power since I'm not going to be cutting a tail with this thing. Although here I might want to go for the power instead. That way I could KO a lot easier. So that's basically how you upgrade the beetles. You also get one more option, which is Kinsect elements. You can apply an element to your beetle. It uses various pieces of equipment that you'll find. Usually it's related to whatever it is. So here you probably need a water sac, flame sac, and this will actually add an element to your Kinsect. So let's say you're fighting a Rathian, then if you apply water to your Kinsect, then you can deal more damage with the Kinsect itself. I'm glad they changed it, because in Monster Hunter 4 you had to actually like feed your Kinsect, and that determined what it would become, and this just made it a lot easier. So that's pretty much it for the entire guide. I showed off pretty much everything you're going to need to know to be effective with it. I will show the boost real quick because I forgot to show you exactly how much the boosts do in terms of increasing your attack and your defense ratings. I'm going to load into my room real quick and then load into the training area. So your Insect Glaive basically needs these extracts to become useful. Without it, it's just a meh weapon that you're not going to have much success with. So I'm going to open up my my statuses on the side. Look to the right side. Now look, focus on attack. It's a 505 and my defense is 139. So 505 attack, I'm going to get the red extract. It went from 505 to, let me get the white as well, 546. So that's a huge increase. You might not notice it as well, like early on, but that 41 additional attack damage is actually a huge amount. You're going to be increasing your attacks by quite a bit of damage. So I have 139 defense. So let's 139 goes to 153. That's also a really good defense buff. So with all three, you're going to be getting a great boost to attack power as well as sharpness. Make sure you keep your sharpness up, because if sharpness goes down, it decreases your attack power by quite a bit. But you can be dealing, look at this, the 20s. And then that last hit was 40s. And if you do the full combo, you're going to be dealing so much damage. So you can be racking out tons of damage with this thing, which is absolutely fantastic because I love this weapon. It's really good. It's not really for the people just starting the game if you don't quite understand how the extracts work, but once you get it down, it's a lot of fun and definitely something you should try if you haven't tried it yet and you're scared to. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you got something from this video that could benefit you and your playstyle. This will be it. See ya.